same it that we're talking about.
Oh, yes. I bet he thought I'd forgotten after all this time. I bet he never dreamed I'd come looking for it.
I'm right behind you, darling, but just hurry up.
Now at last, I get a word in. It's all I've ever heard since I was a child. Always wasting my time cooking up useless potions, putting myself about and giving the family a bad name. Well, understand this. I'm about to put this family on the map forever. It'll be too late to be proud of me, because I would have disinherited you. Have you worked it out yet? This has to be it. This lock. I haven't got time for this. My little decoy won't keep them off for long. Whoever the swine is, I can hear him upstairs. Wait. There were two of them. I can guess who one of them is.
Careful, sir. Whoever he is, he may be armed.
Get the guns then, Tabbers. My brother and that tart of his come to take his spoils.
I'm going to take away your little secret, Father. Help myself. And that'll be it. 1,000 years of buried magic, and the world will know all about it and see what it does in weeks. Then we'll see who's ashamed to be a Darlington. I had it in my hands. I touched it.
You should have taken it.
We had to climb down the pipe, didn't we? I'll be ready next time. Let's hit the road, Miss Parkinson. I'm going to buy you a very, very, very expensive meal.
But you've been disinherited.
It was worth it. Soon their poxy legacy will seem like a book of stamps.
They must have got out through the skylight like cowards.
Father! They didn't get it!
Thank God. It may be in code, but the thought of that in my younger son's hands. We must take it downstairs and guard it. He must never find it.
The safe, sir?
Will suffice for the moment. Tabbers, I want you to contact Professor Kara. You'll find his number in my folder. He's a Russian language expert and he'll be able to unravel this.
It's the very thing we don't want, surely.
For centuries we've been frightened of this bit of paper because of what we know about it. I want to find out what it means and then let the world decide what to do with it.
And can the professor really transcribe something that old?
During the war, he and my father were both in intelligence. He tirelessly decoded every German signal and he's never stopped his research. He's an authentic genius. Not to mention an old family friend. Go on, Tabbers. Don't waste time. Get in touch with him, boy.
I should move away from there, love. Huh? You waiting for Spencer Lytton? Then move it. He knows you're here. Two gorillas are coming for you down the stairs right now.
How do you know?
I was inside, wasn't I? Saw them. Lytton always duffs up snoopers. He's a thug as well as a fraud.
He wouldn't duff me up, would he? Who are you?
Jerry Moose.
Odd name.
What would you call a TV researcher then?
You work in telly?
Do you ever watch Between the Eyes Friday night, Digital Galore?
Oh, yeah. When my flatmate's gone to bed, curl up with that and a packet of tortilla chips. You work on that?
You might say, I'm Daniel Boss's leg man. I get people on the show and everyone that works on it.
Your expert has arrived.
Excellent.
Godfrey, it's been too long. I haven't seen this house for so many years. I can't believe it. So much has changed, and yet the memories linger.
Theodore, what can I say? It's a poor show when we only call an old friend when we need his expertise.
Never mind, I'm here. The years have kept us both busy, it seems.
But when we needed you, you came.
Luckily, my talent is also my passion. As well your father knew.
I'll get Tavis to bring you a brandy, Professor.
Now I know I'm back amongst the Darlingtons. Brandy. Godfrey, you don't need to say anything. When you called, I knew it could only mean one thing. The legacy. The great box.
You can't help but have noticed that my son is bringing ruin on this family on television. He wants the secret. It's all come to crisis point. I want to know the truth. I want to know if it can be cracked, and I want to know before he does.
I've never failed yet. However long it may take, you will know the answer.
Cool. Bit of luck you coming by then.
Well, I have to say, I had an ulterior motive. We need a reporter right now. One that's...
Stupid enough to nearly get beaten up by a stage hypnotist.
one with that kind of guts.
Guts.
Lack of caution, then. Call it what you like. And Mr. Voss wants young blood, too. I kind of thought if I did you a good turn, you might be persuaded to work for us in this and that.
Jerry, if you shot my gran, I'd still work for you if it meant telly.
You know the real star of the show at the moment, of course?
That posh peer bloke.
Charming, that posh pair bloke is Oliver Darlington. His face is only plastered on the front of just about every paper at the moment. He's rapidly becoming more famous than Posh and Bex. He's mad, bad, and women love him. He's the show's greatest asset, and that's where you come in.
Eh?
We have reason to believe he's about to drop a bombshell that will pull us all on the mark big time.
And that's where I come in.
Come to the studio, we'll tape the show tonight, and I'll explain.
You better not be some sex pest weirdo, or I won't half be disappointed.
Well, time once again to meet our peer of the week, and it's our undisputed champion of 6 weeks, Oliver Darlington. Well, Viscount Darlington, 6 whole weeks in a row now. What is it that you have that people seem to like, and can I have some?
Well, it can't be pots of money, because you already have that. No, my secret is I get out a lot and meet people.
Carol Parkinson, by any chance?
Well, the marriage offers keep coming in, but yes, Carol is my girl and will be forever, I think.
So, are you saying you wouldn't make love to another woman again, ever?
You know the score. Danny always ends up Oliver and gets him to reveal a tasty ticket for this week, but he has to work for it.
But this whole Carol Parkinson business, it's freaking people out, can't you see, Viscount? Here you are, society man, everything going for you. What's she? Some Sloane Ranger advertiser who, rather than admit her career was over during the recession, disappears for years and claims that evil spirits in a wood kidnapped her.
Have you ever thought for one moment, Danny, that she might be telling the truth? After all, we don't section the UFO mob. Have you ever seen Blair Witch Project?
I'm speaking for the public, Viscount. A lot of people are saying that you and Carol are only together because she is more of a bullshitter than you are.
Meow.
It's just a stupid press witch hunt. Carol is on the show next week, and, well, I advise you not to mess with her. I promise you, by the end of this current series, I will have you, all of you, believing in something more fantastic than evil spirits.
So, how has your week been?
He says, quickly changing the subject. I rowed with my father. Anyone who reads the papers knows that.
About what? You must have exhausted all topics, surely.
Inheritance.
He cut you out of the inheritance. Anyone who reads the papers knows that.
Not my inheritance, an inheritance. It's the world, you might say.
I don't follow.
festering in our family houses for generations is a box containing an old script, centuries old. Once translated, it is said by the most respected scholars to contain a formula, the secret of immortality.
The what?
I believe it, Danny boy. Remember, I'm a bona fide scientist. I'm going to secure that formula, make it, use it, and demonstrate it to the world on this program. Sound all right to you?
Yes?
I hope I'm not disturbing you, Professor.
What time is it?
20 to midnight.
Good. It's still early.
I was just about to turn in and I thought I'd see how you were doing.
Would you mind if I asked you a question?
Go ahead, my dear. A little distraction can't hurt.
Well, with respect, you aren't a young man anymore, yet you keep going for hours without a break. What's your secret?
Have you most excellent brandies, Lady Helen. That and a sense of pride. I've come a long way in a long life in terms of understanding. If you have a gift, you must offer it to God unconditionally. You must use it with a sense of duty and enjoy it completely. What we have here, it could be terrible, but it must be understood. How can a man sleep when he has such a duty?
Daddy's a lucky man to know you, Professor.
It's tragic and wrong that he should have to do this to guard against his own son. But we know what would happen if he didn't. And there does seem to be a pattern emerging.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 12:30 and I'm having myself another drink. We are going to be dominating the papers in the morning. Everyone's going to want to know about Viscount Darlington and his elixir of life. My God, did you see that audience?
One very stupid question. He wasn't bluffing, was he? I mean, he hasn't gone too far.
No, a sensible question, but no. Darlington's no fool. He knows that if he spins us a line on this one, that the public will hound him down and tear him to pieces. And I'm not joking.
It's utterly incredible.
Who was that totty I saw you standing in the wings with?
Dead and normal. I just recruited him.
To spy on Lord Darlington.
As ordered.
We need to be one step ahead of Darlington. He belongs to me. I made him. I want to know where he lives.
I haven't felt that good, that powerful for years.
17 years? Well, you're OKR again now, aren't you?
What were you doing in 1986?
What are we going to do with you? I offer you the future, lots of future, and you keep digging up the past. As a matter of fact, I was working damned hard on my degree, so that I can be here now.
I'm sorry. It's just being helpless and lost for years, then not being believed. It kills me to think about it.
All the more reason for you to get checked out by Dr. Farah.
Does it have to be her?
In view of what we're about to do to her, it's just as well she knows all about your body. For that matter, I need to know too.
Ooh.
Now.
Professor, you've worked through the night. We're most grateful.
I had to find the answer. It's as important to me as it is to you.
However did you fathom it? The scroll is so old.
More importantly, Professor, I'm afraid to cut to the chase. Does it add up to what we always thought it did?
You must understand that I am not a chemist. But yes, I have deciphered it. And yes, it does add up to a lucid chemical formula.
And it really could immortalize somebody.
Every component is, of course, as the formula is, of course, primitive. But interpreted in the light of modern drugs, what you have is a crude but brilliant early understanding of genetic engineering. Elegantly, and I suspect accidentally conceived.
Professor?
We must assume that the scholars who devised this and entrusted it to our ancestors were correct. But it would be grand folly to think of using it.
Then we must make sure no one does. It's a dead cert that Oliver will come here looking for the scroll. Charles, I want you to find him, lean on him. Helen, I want you to get in touch with the press and try and stall them.
I can understand the loyalty you feel toward your entrusted legacy. The scholars who created this knew that knowledge could not be unlearnt. But we know the truth now. If I were you, Godfrey, I would destroy it before it destroys you.
Excuse me, Charles Darlington.
My sister's dealing with the press. I suggest you talk to her.
Well, from a male perspective, how do you feel about this?
From a what?
Well, you grew up together. Is he used to making such boasts?
I'll tell you this much. It wasn't a boast, it was a damnable lie. And we have a very good solicitor ready to put the record straight. You should be out looking for real stories, not fairy stories.
Nice to meet you too. Hello, Doctor. I'm sorry, I hope I didn't startle you.
Shouldn't be doing this anyway. I tried to give up.
Temptation too great, is that it?
You know what it's like. You go to a shop, go to buy a newspaper, and there's 10 little buggers on the shelf just waiting to be bought.
Did you get round to buying the paper?
Did I ever? Your boyfriend splashed all over it. He's quite insane, do you know that? Immortality.
Got everyone talking though, didn't it?
You did plan to say that, I take it.
For months. He even practiced in the mirror.
You must have something going for you both. It was spread over the broadsheets. Just think, I can tell my grandchildren I was the GP to a noughties icon.
You do want kids one day then?
I suppose it'll catch up with me. If there's a market for medical animacs with PhDs.
More importantly, are you getting what you want out of these study days here?
Not nearly enough. If I were an SHO attached to a hospital, they'd be a bit more ruthless with me and give me more to do. It's far too slow.
Until you get a better offer then. Anyway, I came to ask you a favour. I'd like a thorough check-over.
Anything wrong?
No, not at all. I'm about to undergo some drug treatment. I just want to make sure I'm A1.
What drug?
It's an experimental metabolic thingy. I'm assured I'll come to no harm.
Do you think this is wise? Who's it for? And what do you mean by experimental?
In my view, it could be making me a fortune. And be beneficial to my long-term health.
Well, I'd rather be the judge of that.
Gladly. When can you see me?
I run an evening clinic on Wednesdays. Get yourself booked in there. I'll keep a slot for you.
Thanks. It'll put my mind at rest.
Please remember how many drugs you've had pumped into you over the last few years. I hope you've learned from that.
Oh, yes. I've learned from that, Dr. Farrell. I haven't forgotten, believe me. See you shortly.
Still haven't been able to find him.
The press got to Charlie before I could get to them, but he made it quite clear that we're on to them.
We still have something that he needs for his plan, whatever that is.
Every time I try to get an audience with my father, down goes the phone. But this week, Danny, I shall get it. It shall be legally mine, and I shall show you a printout of it on next week's show, before I crack the code.
It isn't easy for him. He's getting paranoid. It can't go on. Can't we put it in the bank?
He doesn't feel safe with it in a bank. Banks could be robbed, he says. He feels it his duty to guard it personally.
Well, you didn't bring your good lady and you did promise to. What's Carol worried about? Questions about evil spirits in woods?
Doing her public duty and getting ready for a medical at the hospital tomorrow. The Scotch rumours she's pregnant, which at this moment in time, she isn't.
We've got him, Helen. She's going to be at the hospital tomorrow. We can be there too. And she'd better tell us what we damn well want to know when we meet her.
Mr. Voss, I'm not being precious, but to hassle the poor woman as she comes out of hospital... All right, leave it up to me. He's mad. I want my mum. I want some sleep. He wants to live forever anyway.
Just one piece of paper makes all this possible. And a volunteer, of course.
Should I know you?
Damn well should. Helen and Charles Darlington, your lover boy's kith and kin. Just came to welcome you to the family. A word of warning, though. You two have your sights on something belonging to us. Get out of this world, Miss Parkinson. He's scum.
He'll ruin you if you don't play his game.
And just what is his game, Mr. Darlington?
You again!
Should we pick up where we left off?
She's yours. I look forward to reading what she's been up to.
Well, I never thought I'd be glad to see the press. Let me buy you a drink. So you see, after what I've been through, Oliver and his immortality scheme don't seem so damn silly.
No one believed you.
I was sectioned twice, and who can blame them? I wandered out of the park, miles away from my London home base, ragged and having been missing for 4 years. Oh, the first headline said it was a miracle that I'd been found alive. But then the very next day, they said, wait a minute, why was she missing? And what became of Pedro, the secretary? I was forced to answer some questions.
Why didn't you keep it to yourself? I would have done.
Because the alternative was more terrible. People were saying that when I was big in advertising, I cracked. I just wanted a long holiday and came back to pretending that I was bonkers. Then there was the recession. Oh no, darling, history has not been good to me.
You were a high-flying Thatcherite then?
I was good. I was top of the tree rather than being out of it, as some thought. Well, Thatcher did well by me. So then I find myself in the 90s, where success and money are synonymous with greed. You kids have the 80s all wrong. Yes, I trod on toes, but I used my brain. If you rang all the right bells, people were begging to work for you. It was exciting.
Why were you in Birmingham anyway?
Researching an old advert. I'd heard stupid stories about the park, disappearances and so forth. Sure enough, there they were. The whole of the original cast, trapped by some quirk of nature, a force that comes and goes. I tried to rescue them from it. I offered them a job doing their old ad again. Then I found the force was working in favour of Pedro and I. We had bent it to our will. The tide turned again. Pedro was killed. And I was temporarily driven out of my mind. The rest I confess to being vague about.
Were you close to Pedro?
He was good company, if a little moody. The Italian temperament, you know. And I fancied the arse of him. But I was the boss. And it was strictly professional. I was a bit cruel in those days. To myself as well, it seems.
What about the cast of that ad?
I could only remember the fellow who played the dad in it. Les Craddock. By the time I got out of the park, he was living abroad. By the time I could catch up with him, he'd died. I was on my own. Then I met Oliver. He was smug, outspoken, bloody clever and sexy. Trust me, darling, there aren't many men like that these days. He listened to my story, drank it up, actually empathised.
Now you're a team. Is he really going to get that immortality code? Are you happy with the whole crazy thing?
At the moment, I'm up there with the spaghetti tree and David Icke as one of the greatest frauds in our time. I want to show everyone a world beyond their belief. And I want to taste success again by doing something truly amazing. I don't happen to think that ambition is evil.
What about how it's achieved?
It would be fair to say that I've never had time for obstacles.
We're ready, Father. Tabs and I are taking the front and back. Helen's taking the top floor and attic.
Is Helen going to be armed too?
Only with a Lacoste, Mum. Look, Father, I know you don't like the idea of us taking up arms against one of our own family, but I really do think that Oliver will do anything to get his hands on 1140 Combine. You want to defend yourself, I take it?
In the unlikely event that...
Tabbits, Charlie, they're up here.
They fell with the same trick twice.
Even with the fate of the human race at stake, this family couldn't stretch to changing the front door lock. I do hope I'm not interrupting.
But it's good, isn't it? If you made a mate of Carol.
I don't care, I want out.
You don't mean that.
Carol's still ill. She shouldn't be going in for all this immortality stuff.
But you're a journalist. Stories don't come bigger than this. All you have to do is see Carol again and get an invite to the house.
Mr. Moose, I want nothing more to do with this. Someone's going to get hurt, probably me. I'm sorry.
It's too late for that, kid.
Your last chance to cooperate, Daddy.
And if I burnt it?
Professor Caro was here recently. Now, you only ever dig up that poor old boy when you have a puzzle to solve. Now, I wonder what that is. That looks very much like your last will and testament. How appropriate.
You'll get nothing from me, Oliver. You've taken quite enough already.
I don't want so much as the ink in your pen. What I'm about to do will bring me infinitely more.
And what will you do with the family heirloom once you have it? Rule the world?
No! Show it what we could have given it centuries ago had it not been for generations of puritanical misers like you. We could have been something glorious. All the years we've wasted, all the people that have died in ignorance because of us.
Spoken like a real madman. You may as well pull the trigger now if all the world has got to look forward to is you. Too easy for you? Or maybe you just can't do it at all.
Or maybe the gun was never loaded. It's you who couldn't do it. Cold-bloodedly gun down your own son? Not you. It doesn't matter. I shall have to resort to more old-fashioned methods.
The window! Find him! The scroll!
Oh, what does it matter now?
Alpha was just died protecting him. The least we can do is check it's safe.
Who needs dynamite? All I have to do is wait.
I've seen on the television I can do all the expressions. It'd be a great chance for me. Please, Mr. Ross.
Listen, there is no script. Carol doesn't even know about the documentary yet.
Maybe you'd like me to tell her about it. I mean, is she around?
No, she's not. Listen, still in the very early stages, but we will call you.
OK, thank you, Mr. Ross.
Yes. Right. Della's come up with something. She had a drink with Carol after she was being pestered by a family.
Good, and?
She thinks it's Carol who's going to immortalise.
The selfless act by our noble lord? Or maybe the woman's a guinea pig. Either way, it's a story.
Only one problem. Della wants out.
This is as maybe, but she has a job to do. These people are fortunes.
She wouldn't have it.
Journalist, eh? Maybe we should offer her employers a headline. Della Noble, invertebrate, traitor. What's her number?
To us and what lies ahead.
So now you have everything you need. We're going to be untouchable.
No, I prefer invincible. Let's touch by all means.
Did you have to strangle your own father? I can't imagine what it must have felt like.
Immense relief. And thanks to you, we have evidence against my sycophantic relatives.
So now it becomes an unsolved murder. And you have to kill all your family.
Only if I have to. If I were them, I would sit quiet and leave me alone.
Mr. Boss.
We've got some bad news about your star performer.
And you are?
Don't play games with us. You know who we are.
I believe I may have seen you on TV. What did you want to tell me about Oliver?
He's a murderer.
He's a what?
Yesterday, Alpha was murdered, strangled, and we believe our dear brother is responsible.
Indeed. And what evidence do you have, or did he just forget your birthday?
Oliver has appeared on your show openly saying he's going to rob us. Well, the whole damn country knows he hated Daddy.
Yes, but...
And now he has it. The family heirloom.
So it does exist, then?
We thought we should tell you before we go to the police.
Before you do, there's something I should show you. A little home video Carol Parkinson dropped into me late yesterday. Now, I have to say that if you should openly accuse my guest of murder, or so much as go to the press, I might have to show the police this. Good afternoon to you.
You were warned.
Please, you must help her.
I told her not to take any untested drugs.
She only told me when she started having those fits. Is she going to die?
I don't know. I just don't know. Can you get me those drugs she took?
I'm afraid that won't be possible, Dr. Farah. I haven't made it yet. Quick, help me. We've got to get her into the cellar before she recovers.
Can I help you, miss?
they're both here. And they just kidnapped someone on my mother's grave. Some doctor woman came in and wham!
Every bit as good as your chop, I'd say.
Yes, but you had karate training. I hadn't. Unfair advantage. Not another hostage. We seem to be getting greedy, don't we? Entertain him, will you, darling? I need to speak to our other guest.
Della Noble. You just can't get the message, can you? Yes, I know who you are. We have newspaper contacts too, you know.
And why don't you let me interview you and let your feelings be known to the world?
No. I have a much better idea.
Dr. Farrer, let me first say how sorry I am that we've had to resort to such medieval ways to keep you here as our guest.
What do you want? What are you going to do to me?
All in due course, Doctor. But if you cooperate, the unpleasantness will be confined to just this. It's all we had in the house to hold you, I'm afraid.
But why hold me at all?
Because the scientific odyssey we're about to embark on might ruffle your ethical feathers a little. Human experimentation is never easy to accept.
Me?
No, no, no. A volunteer, I assure you. Carol.
Carol? What happened to her? She collapsed. You must let me see her.
You will. She'll come to you daily for a psychological report. She's currently alive and well, and hasn't taken so much as an aspirin.
It was a ruse to get me here. But surely you can't mean to ransom me.
Farrah, we just aren't connecting, are we? I didn't kidnap you for money. I need your help.
Much help I'm going to be to you, shackled to a wall.
Scientific help, Doctor. I've made no secret of the fact that I'm going to carry out a certain experiment involving human metabolism.
So it's you with the experimental drug she mentioned. Longevity.
Go one better, Doctor. This is the big one.
Immortality. Then you weren't joking on TV. But it's totally impossible.
Oh, how dreary of you. Of course it's possible. My family got a translator only last week to prove it. He proved it's possible. Now I'm going to make it, and you are going to monitor the experiment for me. You will be my witness. You see, we live in a cynical world that demands proof. The experts are never going to take my word for it, even if it works.
But why me?
You know Carol's medical history. That's a plus. And you're ambitious. General practice isn't enough for you. You want to be a medical consultant. Help me, and I'll knock 10 years off your goal. You could be a greater medical legend than Pasteur. Refuse to help, and you can rot on that wall. Think about it. Now then, Goldilocks, how much have you told your boss?
I hardly had a chance before you clobbered me.
Looks like Mr. Voss wanted his very own fly on the wall.
Wants to get one over me, does he? Wants to be one step ahead? Well, it's bad manners not to knock. We'd have let you in. It's an open house to invited guests. Tell you what, why don't we all have a nice drink before we send you back to your boss?
Sling her out then, and tell her to report daily.
It's okay. I'll keep in touch with you. Make sure you're on the right track.
It's time. Are we ready, Dr. Farrer?
It's not too late to reconsider this.
I have no choice. I promised the world. Carol is adamant to be the first immortal human being. And you just don't want to disappoint your woman.
Why not? Women have spent centuries being disappointed. Let's face it.
Enough of this, Farrer. We're here to work. Stand by. My name is Oliver Darlington. Using the formula that my family has held for nearly 1,000 years, adapted for modern medicine, I have perfected the makings of a drug. A drug conceived by a group of unnamed scholars and identified by Professor Theodore Kara just a few weeks ago as the 1140 combination. So named after the year it was conceived. Now at 1:00 a.m. on the 23rd of September 2003, I'm about to put the 1140 combination into its first practical use with the preparation I've made. Caroline Stella Parkinson, my partner of 2 years, has volunteered to be the first subject. It was held by the scholars of 1140 and Professor Kara that this formula will result in a perpetual pattern of growth in the cellular and genetic makeup of the subject. They will become, in theory, immortal. My calculated estimation of this effect will require 5 injections at 24-hour intervals. The subject must have complete relaxation for the experiment to succeed. She's currently deeply asleep. I'm about to prepare the serum. 25%. 50%. 75%. 100%. I'm now ready to administer. The subject was not distressed by the injection. I'm now returning her to bed. I wouldn't try grilling him about what he got up to last night. After what he drank, he won't remember a thing.
Get up, Moose, in the studio. What do you think you're doing? You could have killed him.
Pull a stunt like that again, and I will. I'm not joking.
I covered your ass when your family came calling.
Excuse me, I made that film.
As from now on, I own your tatty little show. So let's all keep our cool. My private life stays private. I need absolute quiet for this to work.
And are you still doing the show Thursday?
Yes, but it'll be the last one before the end of the experiment. Carol needs rest. The next few days are crucial for the metamorphosis. See you Thursday, Dad.
Oi, you heard the man. Thursday. After the show, we nail him down. I want to get in there. I want to see what this thing entails. And this time, don't mess it up.
Do you really want to spend the rest of eternity with dirty lungs?
Can I tell my doctor to shove it when she's chained to the wall and my house guest? I think I can.
Have it your way. I wouldn't swap you, even if I am left on this wall.
Really? Interesting. You'd rather be a prisoner than a god, Doctor.
I want nothing to do with this.
But you aren't prepared to die rather than cooperate. I think you do have your own interests at heart after all. Do you believe this experiment can work?
Of course I do. I've read Kara's notes. Don't you see, that's what I'm afraid of. That you could come to regret this 1,000 times more than your visit to the park those years ago.
What was it like last night? Did I flinch when he stuck the needle in?
Mr. Tabbers, meet me in town by the arcade. I need to talk.
Oh, cheer up, Farrah. It's not the end of the world, you know. It's the beginning of a whole new one.
I'm not going to see if it goes on much longer. I'm hungry.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. I haven't had a chance to get down here.
Carol has.
Well, you mustn't blame her. She's a dining out lady. And she has to take it easy. I've just taken a blood sample from her. I must know how she's reacted to the drug.
Injection 2 tonight, I take it.
Yes, indeed. Then we go on TV for one last time. Then we disappear from sight for a few days. I must be on hand to make sure everything goes perfectly. And celebrate when it does.
Your family's going to want it back.
They've got to find me first.
Can I just point out at this point, Mr. Tabbers, that I'm thinking of having a nervous breakdown. Your family want me to spy on Oliver and Carol. They want it so badly they're prepared to threaten me. Daniel Voss does likewise. He seemed like a reasonable man. What am I supposed to do?
Please, Della, there's more than you at stake. Lord Charles threatens you because he's afraid. So let's find out where Oliver lives. Make up your own mind whose side you're on when you meet him.
Oh yeah, I was going to tell you. Daniel says that Oliver records his last between the eyes before disappearing to finish the experiment tonight. He wants to get a lead on Oliver straight after the show. In fact, he's desperate for it.
Play along with him, but stick with us. We need to find out where he lives. People watching the telly think it's all a wonderful plot, but few people realise what will happen if it all comes true. I saw the look in the eye of a man who decoded that formula. Horror.
The second injection of the 1140 combination has been administered. So far, there is no sign of any rejection of the drug, and Carol has enjoyed a relaxing day. For the final injections, I must be available to supervise the metamorphosis in person and in absolute peace and quiet. The experiment that will finally determine the battle of life and death.
Hello! What's this? I see Lord Darlington's guest has grown herself a crown. You know, you can't wear that until you marry him.
For the moment, I'm an honorary peer. I have to say I'm enjoying being a VIP again. Being immortal will have the edge, though, as you can imagine.
And how is all that stuff going, then?
If you mean the immortality experiment, perfectly so far. And tonight we disappear from view to finish it off, and come back to you with the results.
If you come back, you do realise if you disappear, there isn't a place in the world where the viewers of this show can't find you.
Here it is, Mr. Voss. Just a small sample. Carol will be the end result.
I'm going to have a long time to earn that crown, Danny.
So, when you perfect it, what do you intend to do with it?
People will get to know me like never before. They want the truth about my life, they can have it. My first love is advertising, so that's what I'll do again. I see a never-ending age of endorsement. Then I can champion charities.
Of your choice, of course. Ours will be very special pledges.
Look, the really big question that everybody will be asking is, can this happen to me? How are you going to be offering this to the world?
The billion-dollar question.
The most worthy. In a lottery. Popular actors. Me. Watch this space.
They'll see us, won't he, Charlie?
If we keep a safe distance.
Be careful. He got me. We split him and watch our backs.
If you haven't got the balls for this, Mr. Moose, you cannot put a card or handle, I trust.
I fell in the way here. Surely with all of you, I don't need to be here. This isn't my fight.
You're not going anywhere, Della. We need all the help we can get.
Well, what are we going to do when we do catch him?
Make a sentence of arrest to end them all, if he's lucky. Let's move.
Thought so. Looks like we've got the anthill mob on our trail.
And it won't be an escort for our safety.
Too late, Mr. Moose. They spotted us.
Well, you can't arrest him. We need him for the show. I need to know about his experiment.
Is that all you care about? What about my father?
You can't prove Oliver did it.
I understand he nearly killed you. You might have to kill him.
Only if it's necessary, surely, my lord.
If you want to stay alive, it might have to be.
Well, we need to get him put away at least.
Hold tight, darling. Looks like we've got a fight on.
Let me out! Let me out!
To the woods! To the woods!
Hey, what are you doing?
Isn't it exciting? People are chasing us. They want to stop us. Let's go home the long way.
Through there?
Well, of course through there. That leads to our place. We can deal with them better on foot.
I can't go through there. It's woods. I've been there before. I nearly didn't get back. Let's get back in.
Afraid you'll have to deal with your hang-ups to survive today.
Hell, so much for taking it easy.
This is it. Get into cover if you don't want to get hurt.
Oliver! You shouldn't play with knives, Oliver. Not when a bullet is faster.
Go home, Charles. It's too late.
Give me 1140 Combine. I want to see you burn it like Father should have done.
What, and disappoint millions of people? And my girl? I'm sorry, the answer's no, old bean. Besides, as the lady says, it's too late. The 1140 has already been used.
Then I'll just have to make sure you don't finish the job.
No! Now what?
Where's Charles? He's got away. Oh well, there's another one gone to the great dinner party in the sky.
I hope you're satisfied. You weren't even aiming at her.
So?
So it was she that died. She probably even liked you.
Shut up! Got to see to things. Get Tavers into the house and entertain him. I'll deal with things here.
You're the family butler, aren't you? Though there aren't many of the family left to buttle for. But we might have something for you.
A bullet. So why don't you just get it over with?
Let me show you who already works for us. Come. Dr. Sarah Farrer, GP extraordinaire. This is Mr. I'm sorry, I don't know your first name. Tavers. I'm trying to show him that other people work for us. He used to serve Oliver's family. We're trying to persuade him otherwise.
It's inhuman what they're trying to do.
To you,
No, to you. Have you any idea what Oliver's capable of?
Murder? I know that much. He's just skewered his own sister.
That was an accident.
He was aiming for a Darlington. That knife hit its target, all right.
I'm supposed to witness their experiment and get rich quick.
Sounds good, doesn't it? Get rich quick.
But with my ethical reputation destroyed, history will look on me as nothing but a voyeur.
A wealthy voyeur. There is a difference.
They'll say I stood by and did nothing when civilization collapses.
Who'll be there to comment, if you look at it that way? Have you seen to things?
Yes, I buried Helen about 3 miles away.
What a job. I bet you even enjoyed it. What about Moose?
Moose is under there too, keeping her company.
But he was still alive.
Not now, he's not. It's a package I hope will shift the blame from us.
Maniac!
Mr. Tavers, we need somebody to feed Dr. Farah. She's starving down there, and we don't actually want her dead.
After all, she's not family. After a night of murder, I could murder a night of passion.
Oh well, Della. Looks like it's the flowery bed for you again.
We're running, Lord Darlington.
Thank you, Doctor. I would like to acknowledge the contribution of Dr. Sarah Farah in the recording of this experiment. Whilst it is fair to say she is ethically uncertain about the outcome, her observations and recordings are invaluable to the proceedings. Injection 3. After this, it is imperative that Carol is completely rested. The change in her metabolism will be very wearing at first. Carol and myself will be enclosed within this house for the next 4 days whilst her body changes. Dr. Farrell will be on hand to take blood tests and tend to the volunteer where necessary. I have acquired the services of our former family butler, Adrian Tavers, to administer to our needs.
Caught you trying to get away, Lord Darlington. What has the postman brought us?
A wounded butler.
Not another one. How I hate circulars. Don't you think we ought to do something about his injuries?
I will if he cooperates. You need total rest to become a Titan. Take it from me, I'm a genius. Now go back to bed. I'll lock him up and join you.
Don't be too long. A girl can change her mind.
Not to mention her cellular structure. Come on, Jeeves. You're not safe to be let out.
Mr. Voss! Oh, thank God! It's all gone wrong. Oliver caught us. He killed his sister. I think he's got Tavers too. Tavers, the family butler. I think he might have Jerry as well. Police where? Police there?
On suspicion of murder? Why? Who's died? You can't believe that I...
Quiet now. I want you to do a full examination. Skin samples, blood tests, scans. She'll sleep for some time. I've drugged her up again.
You can't be doing her any good with that. Can we really not do this when she's conscious?
Don't you think she's had enough medical examinations?
All right then. If you wouldn't mind waiting in the other room.
Whatever for?
Modesty, Lord Darlington. Have you lost your manners as well as your conscience?
That's a bit prissy, isn't it? I've seen her naked before.
This is not a strip show jolly. This is a scientific investigation. Now you've gone to great trouble to do this properly. Let's continue that way, shall we?
Have it your own way. But remember, I'm only next door with Mr. Tabbers. Try anything foolish, and he'll suffer.
Poor bloke's suffering anyway. Who are you, the rescue party?
Still with us, are you? Has a night with a potentially gangrenous arm changed your mind? How much blood do you think you lost?
Not nearly enough, my lord, to persuade me to work for you.
We control the formula. What we've had to do will seem like teething problems to the glory that lies ahead.
Lord Coffey was right about you. An inadequate loser.
Will the experiment really work?
It almost has. One more injection and she'll be, well, immortal. You must get help. You can't stay there forever. How did you get up there? Drain pipe?
Yes. Does Oliver have another prisoner here? A man called Tavers?
The butler? Yeah, he's in the other room. And so is Oliver. And any tricks for me and he'll get hurt.
If you don't change your mind, that pain will eat into you and you'll rot here. I have the drugs you need, not to mention the doctor. I'll keep asking. Make sure you're not dead when I ask again. Are you done, Farah?
Give a girl a chance. Got to check my findings.
Darlington, I'm here to help.
Help? You led us all into a trap. My sister died.
You were careless. I told you he'd spotted us. I am sorry about Helen, though.
Well, now I suppose you want my help.
You need mine. Lying here feeling sorry for yourself. I bet you haven't even called the police.
Police? No, he's mine.
The final injection of 1140 Combine has been administered. The next stage will be metamorphosis. Carol will stay in this house until I deem that she is fully stable. Tests will continue.
Well, what test is it you want me to do?
Just to make sure she's stable.
Well, what about me? When can I expect to be out of here?
You can't leave us yet, Farah. You've so much more to see. The show has only just started.
With that lot.
Finishing my job. I meant to even get the others out alive.
You're going to axe your way in.
Have you got a better idea?
Look, if we just charge in, what about Tavers? They haven't chained him up like Dr. Farah. We could get a message to him to let us in.
That sounds vague in the extreme.
Well, all you're doing is making things worse. We need an ally who'll be there to help us, don't you agree? Get me a rope. I'm not risking that drain pipe again.
Well, you seem healthy enough for a woman who is no longer human.
Please, Doctor, we can do without that sort of comment. I need psychological encouragement at this critical stage. Am I going to make the transfer?
In theory, you should have already. I don't understand it. The 1140 Combine is altering you, but in a manner I can't understand.
Oh well, you were brought in to observe, not to understand.
You say you were sick this morning. I'd like to do one more test, something we haven't looked into yet.
If it puts your mind at rest, Doctor.
Lord Darlington, it could be hours before Mr. Tavers gets a chance.
It won't be. If he doesn't appear in 15 minutes, I'm hacking the door down.
Well, old boy, the time's come to decide. Serve evolutionary science and live. Remain loyal to Charles and what is now a largely academic family pact, and die.
I'm sorry, my lord. I really am sorry. Quick, Oliver's upstairs. We must get to the garage.
Charles is here!
Tavers got his second wind, it seems. Leave them to me. Go to the garage. You mustn't be harmed.
He can't, can he? No one can kill me now. Not now.
Just do as I say. They'll try to spring Farah.
The key! It's over on the desk. Hurry, they'll be down soon.
The 1140 Combine, Dr. Farah.
It's here.
Time to say goodbye to this. It's my duty. You were wrong. You can unlearn knowledge. It can die with you.
He used acid. No! Della, what are you doing here?
We're both trying to save you from yourself.
You've got to let me go. He'll kill Oliver.
That seems a good excuse to stay put.
Listen, if you don't want to stay shackled to the wall like I was, leave him. He's betrayed you. You will die. Changing into a god? No, you are changing, but the 1140 Combine will never affect anything other than your genes.
What are you saying?
He knew it all along. I should have seen it sooner. Read it, woman.
Once in your life, to be quiet.
I ran that test I did earlier today, and it told me what I already knew. You're pregnant. A matter of days only.
It's not possible. I've taken every precaution.
I'd wager Oliver tricked you on that front. He knew the only way this immortality thing could work was at conception, from when the cells first multiply and grow, from the very beginning. You can't alter so drastically a 43-year-old. Oliver knows that.
Then Carol isn't immortal?
I should have guessed. All the conditions he were preparing were ideal for conception. You're not becoming a god. You're becoming an incubator for Oliver. You've never wanted children, I know that. You're a committed career woman.
You should have let me have that sterilisation.
You weren't stable enough. It wasn't the right time.
Well, it's too bloody late now. But how do you think he could get away with it?
I've already told you. It happens as a surprise. Oliver runs checks, and suddenly the boot's on the other foot. If you agree, then fine. If not, it was going to be you on that wall. Carol's busy resting. Carol's doing this. Carol's doing that. There'd always be an excuse.
But you would never have found out you could actually die until you did.
I give you victory over mine enemies. Charles Darlington is dead.
You lied to me. It was never going to work the way we said.
Who says?
My GP.
You talk quickly to save your life, Dr. Farah. Well, now the experiment's finished. Dead.
Goodbye, Oliver.
No!
What's the matter, darling? Are you afraid for your unborn child? The one you forced on me were going to trick me to have. The one that would have lived forever in my place.
It wasn't like that. I would have told you.
Not before it was too late.
You were damaged. You'd have never understood. Do you want to live with those memories you had forever? This baby can give you new life.
But not you. Good. I won't have to wipe the fingerprints off now, will I?
What was it you hit him with?
I don't know, and I don't care. But I hit his jugular with the full whack.
Well, you certainly killed him.
Give me a moment. You know, when I discovered that Pedro had killed someone all those years ago, I couldn't understand how someone could be pushed in that direction. I had teased him, played with his temper all the time. But he was put into a situation where someone crossed him. Now I know. I knew in a moment what Oliver would do to me. I couldn't be trapped again, to face the world as a fraud again. I want the last word on who Carol Parkinson was.
What shall we do now?
We were all Oliver's prisoners. But he got drunk, and he tried the serum on himself. But he got clumsy and died. It's the truth, and it works. But there's something else. We three are the most powerful women on the planet now. With what we've been through, what we know, none of us should be afraid.
I don't know about that, but speaking as a doctor, the real question is, what are you going to do about the baby?
The baby. The last part of the great experiment.
Excuse me, you're Carol Parkinson, aren't you? Can I have your autograph?
I don't see why not. Got a pen?
Thanks. Do you want a boy or a girl?
As long as it's successful, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Good evening, and welcome to another They Survived. I'm Della Noble. Tonight we meet two players in the most media-covered adventure of the past year. Kidnapped victim of Oliver Darlington, Dr. Sarah Farah, formerly the star of Between the Eyes' Digital Galore channel, and Darlington's former partner, Carol Parkinson. To start with, Carol. Everyone's eager to know how the little one's coming along. It must have been traumatic when the kidnapping came to a head.
The disbelief of discovering that the man you're in love with is criminally insane cannot be described. He desperately wanted to pioneer longevity, and it just got to him. I hope to bring up my child to be aware of this.
Only 3 months to go, isn't it?
The due date is 3 months today. I shall be very relieved. It's felt like an eternity.